Okay, so before we start chapter 11, let's talk a little bit about chapter 10. At the end of chapter 10, we find out that Maya is going to be working with Ellie. It sounds like this is her new partner. So we still really don't know what's happened to Jacob. And she said, Ellie says that it was different working with Maya, but it was still work, and she was excited to be working again. Okay, so let's get started. Chapter 11, page 104, 104. It wasn't just work that was different with Maya. Almost everything about her was different from my old life with Jacob. There were all the cats, for one thing. She also knew many more people than Jacob did. Most nights she went to a larger home with lots of people and a wonderful smelling woman named Mama. Mama was always cooking. That's why she smelled so good. There were little children running around playing with each other every time Maya and I went for a visit. I wonder if this is Maya's mother. It sounds like it could be. The older children called, "Ellie, Ellie, Ellie's here," and almost forgot to say hello to Maya. The boys threw balls for me, which I patiently brought back. The girls put hats on me and laughed so hard that they had to hold on to each other to stay on their feet. The very small ones crawled on me and over me and poked fingers in my eyes. I didn't mind too much, though. I remembered how my brothers and sisters and I used to play with Bernie. These little ones were like puppies. I understood that. They didn't know how to play correctly yet, and you just had to be patient while they learned. When I got tired of having my fur pulled, I just shake myself gently to push them off and go and sit under the table in the kitchen. Mama would be in the room, stirring things in bowls or tasting things in pots, and there was almost always something tasty that needed to be licked up off the floor. I love the kitchen. At her own house, Maya had a neighbor named Al who liked to come over and talk to her. There was a word he said so often that I began to recognize it. The word was help. "Do you need help carrying those boxes, Maya?" he'd ask. "Do you need help fixing your door?" "No, no," Maya would say. "Did you get a new dog?" Al asked one day, not long after I'd come to live with Maya. He bent down and scratched me behind the ears in a way that made me love him instantly. Not everybody scratches right, just hard enough and in the perfect place. Al did. I leaned against him happily so he wouldn't stop. He smelled of papers and ink and coffee and nervousness. "Yes," Maya said, talking a little more quickly than she usually does. "She's the department's search and rescue dog." Maya's skin was growing warm and her palms had started to sweat. This always happened when Al came over and said help, but I could tell she wasn't frightened of him. It was odd. Still, as long as Al kept scratching, I didn't care too much. "Do you need help training your new dog?" Al asked. I knew they were talking about me. I wagged my tail. "No, no," Maya said. "Ellie has already been trained. We need to learn to work together as a team." I wagged extra when I heard the words Ellie and work. Al straightened up and stopped scratching. "Maya, he started to say. "I should probably go," Maya mumbled. "Your hair is very pretty today," Al blurted. What do you think's going on? Do you think maybe Al likes Maya? I think that might be the case. The two of them stared at each other, both so anxious it felt as if something bad was going to happen any minute. I looked around to see if something was going to attack us, but I couldn't see anything more threatening than Emmett, who was staring at us through a window. Probably jealous I got to be outside, and he didn't. "Thank you, Al," Maya said. "Would you like—" "I'll let you go," Al said. "Oh, unless? You do need help with anything?" "No, no," Maya said. Al nodded and walked away. I could feel Maya's sadness, and I pushed myself closer to her so that she could scratch my ears too. Maya and I went to work almost every day. Sometimes we found Wally and sometimes Belinda. On some days a few of the older children from Mama's house came too. That was fun. They were always so happy to be found and called me a good dog over and over and wanted to play tug on a stick until Maya, laughing, told them I had to do more work. Maya was much slower than Jacob, though, panting and sweating from the moment we started running. I learned not to be impatient when I circled back for her, and all she could do was put her hands on her knees for a few moments. Once, after I'd found Wally and came back to show Maya, she was crying. A burst of frustration and helplessness swept over her, and tears came with it. I stared at her, waiting for her to be ready. I knew she was sad, but I couldn't comfort her now. We were working. She knew it too. She wiped her face quickly. "Okay, Ellie, show me." I took her to where Wally was sitting on a big rock by the stream. We all went back to a picnic table together, and Wally took cool, wet cans out of a plastic box and handed one to Maya. I wonder if that's maybe a cooler, a plastic box. Maya put a little bowl down on the grass for me and filled it with water from a bottle. I slurped it up and lay down in the shade of the table. I could feel Maya's worry, and I put my head on her foot. "We're not good enough to get certified, are we?" Maya asked. I heard her put her elbows on the table and sigh. "Ellie's about the best dog I've ever seen," Wally said, a little cautiously. He sounded nervous. "No, I know it's me. I've always been heavy." "What?" "No, I mean, Wally was actually scared now. I sat up wondering what the danger was this time." "It's okay. I've actually lost some weight, like 4 pounds. "Really? That's great. I mean, you weren't fat or anything," Wally stammered. I smelled the sweat popping out on his forehead. I don't know, maybe go to the track? That would help or something?" "I do go to the track." "Right, yes." Wally was so anxious, I whined a little. "Well, okay, I should go now." "I don't know," Maya went on sadly. "I didn't realize there would be so much running. It's a lot harder than I thought it would be. Maybe I should resign. Let somebody take over who's in better shape." "Hey, why don't you talk to Belinda about this?" Wally